Domestic violence is a harrowing reality for many. In 2021, a series of horrific events shook Australia, forcing us to confront the deadly consequences of domestic violence. February 2021. A seemingly ordinary morning in suburban Brisbane became the scene of an unimaginable tragedy. Hannah Clark, a young mother, was about to drive her 3 children to school. Her estranged husband, Rowan Baxter, ambushed the family car, dousing it with petrol and setting it alight. Hannah managed to escape the inferno, but tragically, she and her 3 children succumbed to their injuries. The brutality of the crime sent shockwaves across the nation, igniting a national conversation about coercive control and the need for systemic change. Hannah's story became a tragic reminder of the need for greater awareness, early intervention and systemic change to protect victims and hold perpetrators accountable. Just months after Hannah Clark's death, another horrific case of domestic violence gripped the nation. On the Gold Coast, Kelly Wilkinson, a young mother of 3, was allegedly murdered by her estranged partner in her own backyard. Kelly had sought help from the police on multiple occasions, reporting her estranged partner's threatening behavior. Yet, despite her pleas for help, tragedy struck. Kelly's death ignited outrage and sparked a public outcry over the systemic failures that allowed this tragedy to occur. Protests erupted across the country, demanding justice for Kelly and urging for immediate action to address the systemic failures that continue to put women and children at risk. Chapter 3. Doreen Langham, Failed by the System, Forgotten by the Law. In October 2021, the body of Doreen Langham was found in her burnt-out Browns Plains home south of Brisbane. Doreen had endured months of escalating violence and threats from her ex-partner, culminating in her tragic death. Despite taking out a domestic violence order and reporting multiple breaches, the system failed her. Doreen's case exposed the tragic consequences of a system ill-equipped to protect victims of domestic violence, prompting calls for a complete overhaul of the justice system's response. The Queensland government launched an inquest into Doreen's death, aiming to identify the systemic failures that led to this preventable tragedy. Chapter 4. The Murder of Preeti Reddy, a chilling reminder of the hidden threat. The disappearance and murder of dentist Preeti Reddy in March 2019 sent shockwaves through the nation. Preeti's ex-boyfriend, also a dentist, was later found to have murdered her before taking his own life. The case highlighted the hidden nature of domestic violence within seemingly perfect families and ignited a conversation about the cultural stigma surrounding domestic violence within some communities. Her case highlighted the complex dynamics of domestic violence, demonstrating that it can affect anyone regardless of their profession, social standing, or cultural background. Preeti's legacy lives on through the work of organisations dedicated to raising awareness about domestic violence within the Indian-Australian community. Chapter 5. Tara Brown, a death that ignited legal reform. The brutal death of Tara Brown on the Gold Coast in 2015 sent shockwaves through Australia and became a turning point in the fight against domestic violence. Tara was chased down and beaten to death with a metal fire hydrant by her estranged partner in a public act of violence. Her case sparked national outrage and prompted immediate calls for legal reform, leading to tougher penalties for domestic violence offenders. The landmark legal reforms included specific legislation criminalising coercive control, recognising the insidious pattern of power and control that often precedes physical violence. Tara's legacy lives on through these legal reforms, which aim to prevent future tragedies and provide greater protection for victims of domestic violence. These cases, each one a tragedy, are a stark reminder of the ongoing battle against domestic violence. The women we've remembered today were mothers, daughters, friends and colleagues. Their lives were tragically cut short, but their stories continue to resonate, urging us to act. If you or someone you know is experiencing domestic violence, please know that you are not alone. Reach out to a trusted friend, family member, or a domestic violence helpline. Together, we can break the silence, challenge the systems that perpetuate violence, and create a future where everyone can live free from fear.